Welcome to this flight of the Retail Pilot. I'm your host, Ken Pilot, former CEO and current brand advisor, retail tech investor and board member. I'm thrilled to share with you the insights from some of retail's legends and leaders, as well as my perspective on retail today. This podcast is sponsored by the following. January Digital is a marketing leadership company solving business challenges through consulting, media excellence, and actionable analytics for some of the most innovative, growth-oriented brands in the country, including Carhartt, Kendra Scott, Strivectin, and Steve Madden. Made up of January Consulting and January Digital, they offer strategic leadership services and full-funnel media planning, execution, and optimization, leveraging data to provide insights, yielding client success. Bluecore's software solution turns anonymous online shoppers into known customers and repeat customers. Bluecore enables retailers to personalize and optimize their email, SMS, and site marketing campaigns by delivering targeted and relevant messages based on where every customer is in their journey. Bluecore replaces annoying high-volume messaging with high-value messaging. Customers include Alo Yoga, Neiman Marcus, and Gap. On today's flight of the Retail Pilot, we have Janet Hayes, who has more than 25 years of leadership experience building digitally led and customer-centric organizations. She is currently CEO of Crate & Barrel Holdings, a role she started in August 2020 amidst the global pandemic that catalyzed a pivotal shift in consumers' lives and the retail industry as a whole. Focused on building modern, authentic brands, Janet maximizes growth and profitability by elevating the customer experience through an omni-channel and personalized brand experience. Prior to CB, Janet held senior level positions with Gap, Nike, and Williams-Sonoma. Could not be more excited to have Janet Hayes, CEO of Crate & Barrel Holdings, on the podcast today. Janet, welcome and good to see you.
Thank you, Ken. So happy to be here. It's been a long time coming.
It has. I mean, I approached you to do the podcast maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and I can't believe how quickly you turned it around. That's an inside
Thanks for
joke.
that. Good.
That's an inside joke. I've been dating Janet for a year and a half, but she's been doing amazing things at Crate & Barrel, and we're going to jump into that today. Janet, tell us a little bit about your journey into retail.
I love retail. I've been in retail for over 30 years now, which I can't believe I'm saying, but it reaches back to my teenage years when I got my driver's license. My mom said, "What job will you get to go along with that driver's license?" And there my retail career began. As a 16-year-old, I applied for a job at Macy's, which was within proximity to my house at that time. And I just worked as a sales associate on the floor. And I don't know, just something about it immediately took hold of being on the floor, seeing what people were buying, watching the hours when people were coming. And it just kept going from there through high school and college. In college, I worked for a company called Stroud's Linen. I don't know if you remember that or knew it, but it was West Coast-based home retailer. And that's where I first began in home, honestly, was when I was 17, 18 years old. Put myself through college by working there on weekends and summers. And upon graduating from college, I was actually studying to be a teacher, but at the last minute, I thought, no, I don't really want to do this, but I kind of like this retail gig. I don't know where it's going to go, where it's going to take me, because I didn't have any role models in my life or in retail. I didn't really understand if there were careers involved, but I just jumped into what I liked to do. And my first job out of college was working for Stroud's Linen, and they were opening shop-in-shops. And this is back in the beginning of the 90s when shop-in-shops were still kind of new in department stores. And I was the manager of their Union Square, San Francisco boutique. And I had my own little 800 square feet, and it was the best shop that I could have ever been. I sold every day. I would write down what I sold. I'd fax it back into Australia. And there began my love of understanding how to buy and what the customer was doing and how to keep yourself in inventory. And it was inside of Macy's. And so I did that for 2 years, and they said, "What are you doing? Come work for us." So I flipped over and started working for Macy's and ran the Union Square domestics floor for about a year and a half, which was ironically across the street from the buying office. I ended up going into the buying office a little after that, and I was in luxury linen buying and moderate linen buying. And gosh, I wasn't good at it. I just wasn't good at it. I remember, funny story, I can still remember time, temperature, wind speed of my first review I got. My first official review as a corporate citizen. And it was still to this day the worst review I've ever had. And I remember her saying, I don't think I don't think you have this in you. And I just remember just not knowing what my job was. But what I think was the mismatch for me was I just wasn't matched to a department store. Ironically, the Gap called me within the next day and said, hey, we're thinking about starting a new business. We have a bra, a couple pair of underwear, a bathrobe, and a nightgown. Come see what you can do with it. Would you be interested? This is when Gap was flying, just flying. And I think nobody there wanted to do anything other than the things that were winning. So I said, sure, I'll take that chance. So I got to join the program at Gap Inc. and I helped start Gap Body there. And because it was a new business and we had a super fabulous, curious CEO, Mickey Drexler, I got a lot of contact with him and really strong leadership across the board there at Gap during that time. And I learned how to be a merchant. And I'm so grateful for that experience there because it was the backbone and the foundation of what I understand today between the relationship of product and customer and demand and supply and sourcing. I mean, it was back when merchants did everything from open to buy to sourcing, and so much fun. So I learned a lot about merchandising from Gap. I went to Nike from there and ran.
I'll interrupt you for a second because maybe I didn't realize this, but I guess we started our careers the same way. Like you, I was at Macy's.
That's right.
Developed my passion for retail with Macy's. And from Macy's, I ended up at the Gap. So far, we were parallel tracking in terms of career growth and development. But go on. Tell us.
I did not know that. Okay, so let's hear where you went from there. But from there, I went to Nike up in Portland, Oregon. And I mean, I probably realized that within the first year that it wasn't a perfect cultural fit for me, but I was living amongst some of the best people in marketing. And so while I ran men's, women's, kids, street apparel for the US for Nike, when I was there for 5 years, I tried to learn as much as I could about marketing from them. So I kind of, I'll say, got my MBA, if you will, in marketing and wholesale. At the same time, I had never been in wholesale, so learned how to work with accounts and what accounts wanted, and valuable experience. From there, I took a left-hand turn, I call it, into American Eagle for about a year. And I moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with twin daughters who were under 1 year old. Probably wasn't the best move for all of us. So I was there for about a year when I got a really important recruitment call that said, hey, somebody wants to talk to you at Pottery Barn. And I thought, Pottery Barn, what's going to happen there? So I took the call and ended up putting 13 years in at Williams-Sonoma Inc. and ran various brands over the 13 years there, from Pottery Barn Retail to Pottery Barn Kids and Teen, helped start, really ignite the baby business there, the baby registry business, the dorm business. It was a really fun brand to run. And then I also ran the Williams-Sonoma brand and the Markham Graham brand there. It was a fantastic experience there. And left there in 2019 and had the very, very fortunate experience of taking a year consulting with Chip and Joanna Gaines down in Texas with their Magnolia business. And I say it's very, very fortunate because I needed that moment in my career that had been going for 20 plus years to stop and really watch humble leadership. I watched a different kind of leadership build a culture in a way I had never seen before. And I will tell you, I'm a changed person because of my time I spent there. And during that time, I realized the importance of leadership and the importance of culture. Not that I didn't understand it before, but I just saw a different model of it. And when I got the call, come to Crate and Barrel Holdings, I thought, well, this might be what I've been preparing for. I really had no intention of being a CEO. It wasn't something that I said I was setting out to do. But when this opportunity came up, I thought, I've learned merchandising, I've learned marketing, I've learned my digital chops at WSI and the financial acumen that was taught to me there, and culture that I got to pick up from, and leadership I got to pick up from my time at Magnolia. I thought, this must be it. This must be a time to go and take these beautiful brands that live inside of Crate and Barrel Holdings and work with the culture to change and fulfill the full potential that these brands can be. So it has been a ride. I am so grateful for the people I've worked for and with in my 30 plus years, because I would not be where I am today without the brands and the people in them and the people that have helped me. I've been surrounded by incredible leaders.
Share with us a little bit more about Crate and Barrel Holdings for those who may not be familiar with the breadth of the company.
Yeah, love to. And I think you're right. Most people just think Crate and Barrel brand, but inside of Crate and Barrel Holdings, we are a multi-brand, multi-platform, multi-country company that is touching about 3 billion at the moment. And it has 4 brands and then an outlet division in front of it, which I know you love your outlets, Ken. We have the Crate and Barrel brand, Crate and Kids brand, which has just come alive in the last couple of years, the CB2 brand, and one that most people don't know about that's going to become a superstar in the future here, the Hudson Grace brand. So all of those brands live within Crate and Barrel Holdings, and Crate and Barrel Holdings is actually owned by a parent company in Europe, and it is a parent company called Auto Group that is a really digital first, digitally led company, 15 billion euros, if you will. So we have the great fortune of being owned by a very digitally forward, very progressive parent company, but also here we're one of their only American brands. So we also stand very independent and with a lot of history behind us. So it's a very unique position to be in, and one that allows us a lot of flexibility and speed.
You started at Crate and Barrel just after the pandemic. You saw the good, the bad, the ugly, but actually the home vertical was probably one of the most successful verticals in retail, along with athleisure, driving huge gains. But really following the pandemic, the vertical has been one of the most highly challenging verticals in retail. How is business for Crate and Barrel, and how have you been dealing with that post-pandemic challenge?
Yeah, I started directly in the middle of the pandemic. So I walked into this job in August of 2020, if you can believe it, in kind of the deep dark nights of COVID. I walked into a building. I think I was one of only 5 people in the building on my first day. So no welcome, no shaking the hands, just walked right up into my office and sat down at my desk and turned on the screen. So I did get to see this company continually and lead this company, continually pivot and move throughout the pandemic. And what we learned how to do during that pandemic, whether it's open and close stores on a dime or completely reinvent the fulfillment model, those things that we were learning how to do during that time have now become our strengths. And I'm going to get to the answer of your question of how we're doing now. It has now led us to the success where we are today. So today we are a company that knows how to pivot, has agility, has a fast reaction, has a completely different culture around how to get focused around what the customer needs and what they want. To answer your question around how we're doing and recovering, we are focused on market share now, which I just got information a couple of weeks ago that shows we have gained significant market share over the last 4 years and continue to gain market share in the home furnishings industry. We still have our foot down on the pedal and we're moving forward. And I'll tell you what, the success of the growth we've had over the last years and the growth we continue to have was the work that was done during that time. There was reinvention of the Crate and Barrel brand from top to bottom. New team, new creative, new product, new customer experience, new stores, enhancements to the website. We did not stop repositioning the Crate and Barrel brand during that time. And all the work that was done during that is what is now carrying the brand forward. So I don't think, Ken, we could have come out of that time and sustained it without having done work from top to bottom. There wasn't anything we didn't touch. So it's been very strategic.
Janet, with that said, you've been very focused on the physical store, opening new stores. You've opened a flagship where I was fortunate enough to join you at the opening ceremony, a beautiful store at one of my favorite old haunts, ABC's former carpet store in Manhattan, gorgeous store. What's the strategy and approach behind physical retail?
Well, our strategy and approach is to just keep continuing to provide exceptional shopping experiences and to really, again, use the power of omni-channel. And not for us, but for our customer. I think when I hear a lot of retailers talk, they're talking about the power of their omni-channel. It's really there for the customer and really embracing and unlocking the power of that for the customer. So we say what creates this exceptional shopping experience is the idea of having a beautiful, inspirational website, but also having beautiful, inspirational stores. So the last few years, we have been remodeling, relocating, taking some of our stores to smaller footprints, one level. We've been investing in design services in the stores, and that's investing in designers, in tools, in actually in the spaces, in the technology in the spaces. We continue to see the return as we open stores, remodel stores. The more we put in, the more we get back. Honestly, the return is there and the customer is voting for it. So, I think it's important to keep that customer inspired. I think we all know it gets harder and harder to make these transactions every day. And our job is to keep them inspired and keep the customer service high. And that's what we're doing with refreshing these stores. I'll tell you, we are not overstored as a company. We are not overstored, and there's still room for us out there in the market.
How many Crate and Barrels and how many CB2s are there?
Yeah, there's 77 Crate and Barrels, which again is not, and that's between the US and Canada. That is not a lot. It's really a beautiful model. And there's 25 CB2 stores. So CB2 is, almost 80% digital. And the Crate and Barrel brand is 60% digital. And the more we can build these stores to be the beauties. Thank you for your compliment on Flatiron. It was one of my favorite projects I have ever worked on in my career. And that's the North Star, is to open stores that feel like they're local, to respect the area they're in, and to inspire the customers that live there. And we still see that we have opportunity to do that.
It's interesting. The customer experience in a home store versus an apparel store is so different. One can easily get lost in the process of trying to pull together a room or a home, and the ability to help the customer in the moment and allay some of the fears that are associated with making the wrong choice. I mean, a bad fitting t-shirt or an ugly woven shirt, that goes by the wayside quickly and relatively painlessly from a financial point of view. But pick the wrong sofa, pick the wrong rug, buy something that doesn't fit in the proper scale of your apartment. And that's a major problem. So I know that you've been really building out this team in stores. I've experienced it personally to come in and have people ask me for help. What room am I working on? Is such an important part, I believe, of creating a great brand experience, let alone a store experience, but the right brand experience.
Yeah. You're right. It feels like a major problem as a retailer, but if you stand back in the customer's shoes, it's a major expense. There's redoing a room or buying a new sofa for our customers is really a thoughtful moment for them. They have to think about that. We sell beautiful high-end quality products, and that's an investment, and we take that really seriously. So you're right. We want to help them feel great about what they're buying. We want to take the friction out of it. We want to help them. Listen, I'm going through a remodel right now in my house. I can't do it. I can't do it by myself. I've been doing this for years. I need help. So it's just not that easy to imagine your space. And so we want to do everything we can to, again, make it inspirational, take the friction away, help them, and more importantly, make them happy, get them excited about what's going to transform in their home. And we have been investing in it. I'm really excited. Late this fall, early next spring, we are going to be rolling out a new POS system that is going to enable every associate in that store to take a transaction wherever the customer is. And as simple as that sounds, it's going to be game changing for our experience in there. So we've picked two world-class partners, we think, to roll out our new POS system. We'll have all Apple products, and we're using a new company called Predict Spring that has enabled the ability to complete a full design experience and transaction from sofa, standing in front of a shelf if you want to just buy some plates and glasses, we can do that while you're standing there looking at it, or we can do it in your home or in your place of business. So we think this is going to be a game changer for our customer and for our employees that has been struggling on 25-year-old technology and bad registers. So I'm as excited about this as I am for our customer as I am for our employees.
Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors. Predict Spring is a global point-of-sale platform live in 22 countries. The platform includes mobile POS, endless aisle, fulfillment, inventory management, and clienteling, creating a true omni experience for customers and associates. Predict Spring powers Suit Supply, Converse, Lovesac, Decium, Janie and Jack, and Bouclair. I'm excited about it too. As you know, I'm an investor in Predict Spring, and so happy that you guys landed on the platform. But I think you realize, as some do, POS is to the store what an e-commerce platform is to the online experience.
Absolutely.
You can't compromise either. You have to invest in both. And, Crate and Barrel, not unlike other companies that have been around a while, are challenged by legacy systems.
That's right.
You brought on a CTO. We'll talk about Jason Booth, who came over from Nike and has really helped you look at what the needs are and address the tech debt that has been really part of the company for a long time, which you have been aggressively going after and selectively replacing where the best opportunities are to connect the customer with the right product.
That's right. Yeah, Jason, my CTO, our CTO, has been an incredible addition and a great partner. I think there's a dynamic today that exists between a CEO and a CTO that maybe didn't exist as deeply connected, let's call it 5, 8, 10 years ago, or nothing that I had seen. But Jason has not only chipped away at the tech debt, more importantly, his strategy is comprehensive. He realizes that with technology is not the answer for everything. It has to be technology and process and culture. And that is the difference that Jason has brought to us. And he has taken partnership across the company with not only with myself, but with all the cross-functional leaders to say, hey, listen, we can put this technology, and thank God we have the investment. We've got the people. But unless we all understand this is a culture change and a process change, we're not going to be successful. And so, yes, we've been aggressive, but we've also been very careful to make sure that across the board, the change that is coming, and it is going to change our culture in the most positive way. And we don't want anyone to be surprised by that. We want people to know it, embrace it, plan for it. And so I'm very, very proud of the way that we're approaching what is a large investment in people, in technology, and in process.
And you've been methodical about making changes at the leadership level within Crate and Barrel. Talk to us a little bit more about your leadership team.
Leadership team I have right now is a perfect balance of tenured people that have been here and had proven success here, and then some new people that have joined. We have a new COO that also came from years and years at Nike, who is really helping us innovate our supply chain and our customer service. And we have Jason from Nike, who is really, again, bringing that leadership around technology. We have a new head of stores in the last couple of years that has strengthened the focus around the customer and actually really done a nice job committing to leadership at the store level and really investing in leadership at the store level and really getting the whole experience changed inside the store to be focused on that customer and also focused on developing the leaders there. Most recently, we have a new chief digital officer that has a great background from Google, Sephora, a little WSI, Bain Consulting. Really needed somebody with that great digital expertise that had view of the market as well as knowing how to tactically run a beautiful website. So I'm really pleased with what we have going on the leadership team right now. And our brand leaders that run Crate and Barrel brand and CB2 brand have been with the company now for years and have done just really tremendous jobs leading these brands into the future, looking fresh and new. So the talent here is immense. It's fresh, it's energized, and it is a really fun place to come to work every day.
How do you manage a multi-brand company? You have different demographics, some overlap, but different demographics that your product is targeting. How do you spend your time and how do you manage the breadth of the brand, of the holding company, I should say?
I mean, I'll start with I have to be humble and realize this is my first CEO job. And to have multi-brands as your first CEO job, I think is not easy. So I had to do what we just talked about, is to have a great team under me and trust that team. And I've always said to every leader that comes on, or, I'm going to go in and go down in the details so I can get out. I want to understand what you do in your job and then I'll get back out. And I think, I really believe in and trust the leaders that I have, not only at my direct level, but the ones down from that. I mean, we have layers of talent here. So build a good team, trust that team, be humble to realize I don't know everything, I can't know everything, and have them bring it. What I've been most focused on in the last couple of years is we are going through tremendous change again on a transformation in the supply chain. And then after that, there'll be a transformation that will come in that customer experience. So I've really been focused on keeping goals and communication high throughout the company and focus. Just keep everybody as focused as we can on this transformation. And good news, I just got our latest customer engagement survey back. And one of our highest ranking questions up there was, do you believe in where the company is going and are their goals clear? Yes, yes. That's where I want everybody. So I'm spending a lot of time on communication, goals, priority focus, and of course, growth.
Speaking of growth, Janet, with what you have in place today, international still is a big opportunity with stores in Canada, partnerships abroad. How big can international be as you move forward, and what % contribution is it today?
Great question. And one of my favorite topics is our growth, and particularly international. We are going to put the pedal down on that by, if you said 2030, I'll pick up on 2030. I mean, the beautiful thing is, like you said, we're in Canada, we are in South America, we are in parts of Asia. We have a very big presence in the Middle East. Where are we not? Where our parent company lives. So if you ask me what my bet is here in the next 10 years, we have the ability to leverage a parent company that sits in Europe that is a very large company. So it's about timing. It's not any different than right product, right place, right team, right time. It's about timing, but I could see us expanding into Europe and being able to leverage what sits there for us. And I think it's just a matter of the right timing that you'll see us do that. I still think we have room to grow in Canada. We only have a handful of stores there. Our digital business is growing, and it is a country I'm passionate about growing, and I think we're underserving that market there. So you'll also see us grow even further in Canada.
Looking at the future of home decor and furnishings, how is Crate and Barrel preparing for the changes, the evolution of the space?
As you can imagine, there's a lot going on around AI and what AI is going to bring into our future. I mean, I think every day about how AI will affect the interior design business. I'm talking about it as much as I can with the teams here, with people outside our company about what does that look like for interior design and how do we position ourselves around that. I think when I think about that, I think about how do we keep it personal for somebody? How do we, people want their home to not feel digital or the same or cookie cutter, if you will. So what is our role in something that becomes or could become, if you will, automated? As much as we might be excited about that from the technology point of view, that's not something you want to bring in your home that way. So I'm spending a lot of time thinking about how it might affect the interior design service. I think as we think about the future, on that note, there's a conflict going on right now between making things personal and also the privacy conflict. So I want to just keep thinking what the customer wants is they want their home to be unique, to be theirs, to be warm, to be comfortable. And I think that fits into our strength, which is we build product that lasts, right? And that when they make a decision on our product, it will grow with them. It will stay with them. The idea about sustainability is something that we've been working on quite a bit and is going to position us for the future because our customers telling us they want to work with a company they trust. They want to work with a company that believes in purpose and they want to buy products that last. I think there's going to be a future where less could be more and that when we sell a sofa, it needs to last or a console or a dining table. Those are things we're spending a lot of time around quality and sustainability on. I think that's the future.
And as you and I both learned from our days at Gap, there's nothing more important than great product. Although
That's
the
right.
sofa may last 3, 4, 10 years, it's got to be great product to be purchased. You've been doing a lot of work on bringing in great product. I mean, I love shopping CB2 in particular. I think Crate and Barrel provides a great alternative as well. But you've been very surgical about the collaborations that you've done, and you've brought in outside energy to keep the brands fresh rather. Talk to us a little bit more about the importance of collaborations, some that you've done, maybe some that you're planning to do, to keep the customer coming in and to keep evolving the brands.
Yeah, collaborations are some of the highest energy points of our brands. It brings us as much energy as it brings to the customer. We've had the fortune of working with just some fabulous partners and people. Some of my favorite, the Eames family collaboration that we have with Lucia Eames is so incredibly special. I'm honored to be working with them. The Lenny Kravitz, Gwyneth Paltrow coming out of CB2, that energy. I mean, come on, who's cooler than that? And that brings a good energy into the CB2 brand. Jeremiah Brent, Jake Arnold, Athena Calderon. I mean, Leanne Ford is probably one of the most fabulous, creative, individual people I have ever met. And again, just the humility of her, it makes us want to work with her all the time. I think she is a superstar. And that is, it's really humbling that these people want to work with us. And you're going to be surprised, but one of our smallest brands that we have, I can't say it yet, but one of our smallest brands that we have is going to have one of the biggest collaborations we've ever done. And I love the juxtaposition of it. It's going to be amazing. It's coming out on August 15th. It'll be announced on August 15th of who we're collaborating with. But it is, again, a very humbling moment that someone this fabulous reached out and said, hey, love this brand. Would you guys ever want to do something? And I'm excited about what's to come.
It's funny, I had a chance to meet Leanne Ford at your Flatiron opening, and I didn't realize that her husband was Eric, the co-founder of Buck Mason, which is one of my favorite men's brands. And what a power design couple they are.
Yes. Can you imagine I'd like to have dinner with them. I did have it at that night, but I need to go back. Yeah. Just, again, humble, cool, creative. It is just honestly a pleasure to be working with them.
Can you give us a little more of a taste for your marketing strategy and how consumer shopping habits may have changed it?
Our marketing strategy continues to pivot exactly what you said with that customer. As little as 4 years ago when I started, we were, believe it or not, still pretty catalog heavy. And so we have been in that major pivot of moving everything into digital investment. Our marketing strategy is really to be fully digital, just to be with a modern mindset, to be honest, whether that's communicating with them via SMS versus email, to be thinking about our influencers, our collaborations as a major part of our marketing strategy. We are continually pivoting in our marketing strategy, continually. So, and I like it. I like what the teams are doing. It's pretty easy to fall into, hey, if that ROI is high, keep going, keep going, keep going. And we do that, of course. But sometimes that stops you from trying new things. And I will say one thing about this company and the people that work here in marketing is they have a lot of ideas. I push them to be modern thinkers. And some of the things you'll see coming up in the way we're marketing is totally new. So my goal is just to stay with the customer and have a modern mindset about how we're investing our marketing.
Does your customer respond to social media? Is that a big push for you? And if so, what part of social media might be working best?
It's different by brand. as it should be. And the response is different. And Crate and Barrel, content. Absolutely, content is king. Whether it's something we put out around a recipe or how to decorate a room, it's insatiable content there. Collaborations, absolutely respond there. In CB2, anything around interior design, around the trade business, that it gets a huge response. I mean, CB2 is very design led and has those beautiful, unique pieces that have history and just, beautiful designers behind it. So the more that we talk about that at CB2, the better the response. And Hudson Grace is a lot of the response that we get from Hudson Grace is around just introducing new product in the entertaining space. That customer there loves to entertain, and any new product we put out there is a reason to have a party.
Well, I just love the way you're positioning the brands. I think that's making a huge difference for the company and obviously for the customer based on their reaction and how you're continuing to grow the business. Let's shift topics and kind of get back once again to leadership. You've touched on it earlier, but talk to me a little bit more about not only your leadership style, but what motivates you as a leader, as a CEO? What's bringing you into the office each day?
What motivates me are the commitments we've made to our customers and to our employees, and I take it pretty seriously. If our commitment to our customers is to keep our promise, that's what motivates me every day, whether that's through the quality of the product, the beauty of the product. I talk all the time to our employees here about quality, and that doesn't only mean product. It's quality of decisions, quality of people, quality of work. There's nothing that can substitute for it. So the commitment to the customer and to keep our promise is what motivates me. The commitment to our employee to keep building a modern, rich culture that evolves with the time is what continues to motivate me. And it's fresh, it's fun. And so it's just, again, I love retail. That's what gets me up every day. I get up and I can't wait to see what we've done the next day. To me, it's like going to Vegas. Like, put your money down on something and see if it comes back. See if that customer liked it. I just love what I do. Honestly, that's what motivates me. But making commitments and following through and watching how this culture is changing into growth culture has been the most rewarding part of my career so far.
It's interesting to see how you transition from a merchant to a leader, taking the best of your experience and putting it out there and developing a team and building a business. So congratulations on that, Janet. It is amazing to see what you've done. Let's pivot to the last part of this podcast, Rapid Fire. Are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
All right. Favorite stream show?
The Bear. Oh my God. Shot in Chicago. It's beautiful to look at. The acting. It's just so amazing to live here and to see the local shots and the Bear.
Favorite vacation destination?
Anywhere Europe, but I'm dreaming about taking my family to Turkey. So I'm zeroed in on Turkey right now. I'm going to get us there.
I have spent some time in Istanbul and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm dying to take them there.
Whose house would you most like CB to design?
Taylor Swift.
Who would you most like to have for your next CB collaboration?
Taylor Swift.
Okay. Favorite personal purchase from CB?
Oh, my Gather sofa. It's not a sofa, sorry. It's a huge white sectional. And I was so scared to buy a white sectional, but I bought it in the most perfect fabric and it's huge. All 4 people in my family, we can all lay down on it at the same time and watch TV. We have spent more time on that than I care to admit, but it is so beautiful and so comfortable. I love it.
I think I know the answer to this final question. I'll ask it anyway. Who would you most like to meet?
That is a hard one. Can I have 2 on it?
You could, as long as one is not Taylor Swift.
Shoot. Okay, I'll just answer one. You know who I would most like to meet is somebody who I have met before, but it was during COVID and it was over a screen, and I left such an impression on me that it's insatiable for me how much more I want to speak with her, is Jane Goodall. So I had the opportunity to meet with her and speak with her, and boy, she's like nobody else. And she was a hero to me growing up as a child, but you just won't meet someone I've never met. I'll speak for myself. I've never met someone who's done so much against so many odds in her life, whether it's being a female growing up in kind of a wartime discovery and science, and someone who is still curious and passionate about what she's doing at this age, and someone who deeply cares and is concerned for this earth and what's going on. I mean, just the impact she has. I've just never met anyone like her. I want more time with her.
And with that, we'll end this flight of the retail pilot. Janet Hayes, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for having me.
It's great to see you. Thanks for tuning in to this week's flight of the retail pilot. And please give us a review on your favorite podcast platform.